number 4. Okay, so this question is find the 8th term, okay, of an arithmetic progression with the first term 5 and the common difference of -4. This is probably the most basic. Okay, it is like this seriously basic kind of this one lah. But let's do a little recap on arithmetic progression. Okay. Since we're talking about progressions and since this is revision class, okay, arithmetic progression, the first few things we learned is that to find the nth term is a plus n minus 1 and then multiplied by d, okay, where a is the first term and d is the common difference. Okay, speaking of the d is very closely associated with the second term minus the first term. What makes the d different for arithmetic progression compared to the geometric progression? It is the number in front minus the number behind. Not necessarily the second number minus the first number, but as long as nombor yang di depan tolak dengan nombor yang di belakang, that is the d. Okay, and if let's say I give you, no, sorry, let's not go into example questions, but the basis of this is this: the front number minus the back number. Well, depending on how you read it lah. Some people like to say nombor di belakang lah, but doesn't matter lah. Okay, nombor yang seterusnya tolak dengan nombor yang sebelumnya. That is the d. Okay, now when we talk about the nth term, we also have to talk about the sum. Okay, S is sum. So Tn is the nth term and Sn is the sum of the first n terms. Sum of the first n terms maksudnya nombor yang pertama campur nombor yang kedua, campur nombor yang ketiga, campur nombor yang keempat, sampailah nombor yang ke n. And the formula is n over 2 times 2a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d. Okay. Now, when we talk about Sn, we also have to talk about if they give you the last term. Okay, this can also be n over 2 a plus l. Okay, the first term plus the last term. Okay. So this situation, the one that you use this formula is very special. It is only if they give you the first term and the last term. Okay, let's say for example, 2, 4, and then so on and so forth. Then lepas tu dia mau sampai 200. Okay, so they have given you the first term and the last term. Okay, the only problem with this, okay, and if you want to find the sum, 2 campur 4 campur 6 campur 8 sampai 200 is, okay, make a star over here, you have to find n using Tn. Tn equals to the last term. Okay, after you find the n, then only you can use this formula. Okay. One other thing is if I want to relate the Sn and the Tn. Okay, so the formula will be Tn equals to Sn minus Sn minus 1. Sebagai contoh, if I want to find T4, okay, it will be S4 minus S3. Ini satu hubungan yang kita mesti ingat. Okay, T4 equals to the sum of all the 4 minus the first 3 sums. Then you get the fourth sum lah. Okay, likewise, T1245 equals to S1245 minus S1244. Okay, because if you understand how the Sn works, okay, then it is very easily done. Sn is the sum of all the terms from the first term. Mesti yang pertama, kedua, ketiga, keempat, kelima, begitu. Okay, so this becomes a very important relation for us when we talk about arithmetic progression. Okay, so that is a summary of arithmetic progression. And I see that the next question is a geometric progression. So nanti kita akan pergi ke sana. So the question is very simple. Find the 8th term. Find the 8th term maksudnya you want to find for T8. Okay. T8 maksudnya nombor yang ke-8. Okay, bukan nombor 8. Okay, nombor yang ke-8 dalam siri itu. Okay, you want to find the 8th number. That's why dia cakap sebutan ke-8. Sebab kalau saya cakap cari nombor ke-8 bagi satu, macam sangat bahasa pasar. Okay, macam sangat kasar lah, macam sangat like, bahasa like uncivilized language. Cari nombor ke-8. Okay, so the mathematical term is cari sebutan ke-8. Find the 8th term, not find the 8th number. But we understand it as find the 8th number. Okay, cari nombor ke-8 of an arithmetic progression where the first term is 5, okay, and the common difference is -4. So the negative plays a very important role. So we use this formula, okay, Tn equals to a plus n minus 1d. So a is 5 plus 8 minus 1 times -4. And this will give you a very simple answer of -23, 2 marks. Okay, I know saya cakap panjang-panjang kan, because it's a revision lah. I want you to revise all these things so that the next time kita jumpa soalan ni, I don't have to revise anymore. Okay, you should have already tried to revise it by then lah. Okay, so that is arithmetic progression. Now we go into geometric progression. Okay, so geometric progression, rubbing everything off. Geometric progression. Okay, first thing that we need to talk about geometric progression is this. Okay, the same thing. The nth term, okay, is AR to the power of n minus 1. Where sekarang kita tiada sudah istilah common difference. Okay, we don't have the istilah of common difference, but the R is now known as, okay, the common ratio. And it is a ratio because it is nombor yang di depan bahagi dengan nombor yang di belakang. Okay, yang nombor yang selepas bahagi dengan nombor yang sebelumnya. That is the fundamental difference with arithmetic and geometry. Okay, arithmetic is nombor yang selepasnya tolak dengan nombor yang di belakang. Manakala geometric progression, janjang geometry, is the number after divide by the number before. Okay, and that's why we call it a common ratio. So they divide. Okay, so this is the formula. The second one is Sn equals to A Rn minus 1 over R minus 1. Okay, this is the formula for the sum of the n terms. Okay, we don't have such formula like this. Yang macam ini tiada. Okay, inside geometric progression we don't have. Okay, but ini masih lagi dipakai. Okay, if you want to find the nth term, you find the sum of the n terms minus the sum of the n minus 1 term. Okay, tolak dengan yang sebelumnya. That is a very common one. Okay, now in this question, given the sum of the first n terms, and they give you a totally different formula than this. Okay, now if you have this printed out with you, I want you to make a note here. Okay, if a different formula is given. Okay, if a different formula is given, kan kita punya formula begini, tapi ini pula kejadiannya. And if they give you a different formula, it is actually making your job much easier. Okay, it is actually making your job much easier. So if a different formula is given, don't use original formula, which is this. This is the original formula. Okay, yang ada di dalam your formula, dalam senarai formula ada diberi ini. Okay, if they give you a different formula, use that different formula. Don't use the original formula. Okay, and you need to know this. The reason why they give you a different formula is to make your life easier. Look at this formula, people. Do you see the letters A and R there? No, you only have the letter N. Okay, so you don't have to make your life, apa itu A, apa itu R, alas, astaga, saya tiada A, saya tiada R, saya boleh buat sudah. And then after that, kau pergi ketuk kepala di atas dinding lah atau di atas meja because you cannot find the A and the R. Padahal orang sudah bagi kamu formula, jalan senang keluar. Use that jalan senang. Okay, it is meant to help you, not meant to make your life more difficult. Okay, so now we need to find the first term and then the common ratio. Okay, so I need to change the screens for this lah. Can somebody please read me the formula, please? Sn is what? I think I saw a 5 over something.
Over 3.
Okay, and then?
And then in bracket 2 to the power of n minus 1.
Okay, thank you. So you are required to find the first term. Okay, and then secondly is the common ratio. Am I right? Okay, common ratio. So the first term is easy, okay, because T1 is the first term. It's also equals to S1. Because Sn is the sum of how many terms dari yang pertama. Okay, dari yang pertama. So kalau S1 means yang pertama lah, which is the same as T1. So you substitute n equals to 1, 5 over 3 to the power of 2 to the power of 1 minus 1. Notice that I don't even need the A and the R for this. Saya guna n saja. Okay? So the answer for this will be, is it 5 over 3? Yeah, 5 over 3. Okay, that is the first term. Done. It's a 1-mark question. Nothing much to this. Okay, the second one. Okay, the second one is the common ratio. Okay, common ratio is the second term over the first term. Okay, now we have the first term, which is over here. Okay, no problem. But how do we find the second term? We cannot use Tn. We cannot. Okay, because you are given the formula of Sn and you will have to use this. Okay, so we go back to what we know about this one. Nina. Astaga. Okay, we go back to this one. If you want to find a particular term, you need to find the sum of that particular term minus the sum before. So, kalau you mau cari T2, T2 is S2 minus S1. And can I find S2? Can, because I have the Sn formula. Okay, let's do this. S2 equals to 5 over 3, 2 to the power of 2 minus 1. Can somebody calculate this for me, please?
5.
5, huh? Okay. So, T2 will be equal to S2 is 5 minus S1 is 5 over 3. Okay, so you get 10 over 3, I think. Is it 10 over 3? Should be lah. Okay, it's 10 over 3. So, astaga, sorry, not 0, 10 over 3. So, then we can substitute this in here to find the R. So, R equals to 10 over 3 divided by 5 over 3, which will give you the answer 2. Okay. This is not even a difficult question. Okay, honestly, this is not even a difficult question, but the understanding of this is the important thing. And that's why these revision classes are important to remind us of the things that you have forgotten. When do you last see this question? Okay, probably in your mid-year exam, but you learned this in Form 4, actually. Okay, you learned this in Form 4. And I don't know if you've noticed, but actually, all the difficult chapters are in Form 4. Okay, in Form 5, the most difficult chapter, if you ask me, the most difficult chapter is trigonometric functions, probably, or integration. Yeah. In Form 4, there are a lot more difficult chapters. Difficult because the concepts you need to remember. Okay, S2 minus S1, all these things are not given. They are not formulas. They are all concepts that you have to remember. Okay, so please have this in mind. Okay, by far the most important tip okay, that I can give for anybody that wants to master arithmetic or geometric progressions is this one, Tn equals to Sn minus 1. It's not even a formula. Okay, it is a concept. that we need to get. Okay, and now we come to Sean's question, which is number 5. Okay, express 0.652 dot in the simplest fraction. It's odd. Oh, okay. What it is missing over here is, and please add this in your question if you printed it. There should be a dot over here. It is a repeating. It is a repeating fraction. Okay. Sorry, it's a repeating decimal. Okay. Let's talk about the let's talk about the repeating decimal first now. Repeating decimal. Okay, repeating decimal usually has something to do with sum to infinity. Okay, and the formula for sum to infinity is S infinity equals to A over 1 minus R. So according to this formula, you need to find the A, the first term, and you need to find the R, which is the common ratio. Then you can find the sum to infinity. So in a repeating decimal like this, okay, 0.652 dot, 0.652 equals to 0.652, and so on. Okay, sehingga ke jannah. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Now, since this is exam, okay, if this is a normal class, I usually won't teach this. But since this is exam, I'm going to give you the shortcut method to this. Okay. So the shortcut method to this will be, of course, the S infinity. Okay. So the repeating numbers are 652, 652, 652, 652. Okay. So 652 are the 3 repeating numbers. Okay. So since there are 3 repeating numbers, okay, our A, okay, is 0.652. This is our A. Okay, the first set is the A. Okay, and then 1 minus, okay, then we take a look. How many numbers are repeating? 652. There are 3 numbers, right? Okay, so if there are 3 numbers, it will be 0.001. Okay, if there are 3 numbers that are repeating, there will be 001. If there are 2 numbers that are repeating, it will be 01. If there's only 1 number repeating, it's 1. There's no 0. Okay, so it depends on how many numbers are repeating. But it is always 0.00 something 1 or 0 point something. Okay, minimum is 0.1 because if there's 1 number repeating, it will be 0.1. If it's 2 numbers, 0.01. It's 3 numbers, 0.001. Okay, and so this will give you a fraction of 652 over 999. I think this is the simplest fraction, is it? Yeah, it's the simplest fraction. Okay. So the conventional method is, okay, cari A, lepas itu cari R, you know, and how to find R is kita kasih pecah ini 0.652 plus 0.0000652 plus 0.000000652 and so on and so forth. And then this one divide by the first one. You will get the same thing. 0.00652 divided by 0.652. You get how many zeros are there? 1, 2, 3. 0.000652 divided by 0.652. Yeah, 0.001. Okay, if you don't believe me, try it with any repeating decimal. Okay, 0.232323. 2 numbers are repeating. Okay, so the A is 0.23. The R is 0.01. 2 decimal places. Sorry, I don't know if you believe me, but yeah, that's it is . So the S infinity is 0.23 divided by 1 minus 0.01. And you'll get divided by 0.9. Sorry, you'll get 23 over 99. Okay, and if you press 23 divided by 99 in your calculator, you will get the exact same answer. Okay, you get 0.232323232323. Okay, so how to find the R is usually a very important. I mean, this question is so simple, lah. Okay, and I would rather give you the tip because since we're doing exam, okay, I would rather give you the tip on how to find the R much easier daripada kau kasih bahagi-bahagi dan takut kamu salah. So you can do this for any repeating number. Okay, let's say it's 0. Okay, the most common one that I see is 0.666666666 lah. So only one number is repeating. So A is 0.6, R is 0.1. It's about one number saja repeat, so one decimal place. Two numbers repeat, two decimal place. Three numbers repeat, three decimal place. Of course, the last one must be one lah. Okay, jangan juga kamu, okay, jangan juga kamu 0.0001. Itu four decimal place sudah. Okay, we can use this tip and totally no problem because you don't have to show this in the exam. Okay, all I want to see is this one. This is 1 mark. This is 1 mark. Habis. So daripada kau susah-susah, you can use this tip lah. Okay, if you find helpful on how to find the R. Okay, for a repeating number. Sean, I presume that C is your last question. Is your question, ka? Is it B or C?
The whole 5 question.
The whole
question.
number 5. Okay.
Yes,
fine.
sir.
Okay, let's talk about B. It is given that arithmetic progression as 6, 13, 20. This is arithmetic progression. Arithmetic progression means you need to find the D. Okay, tell me what is the D first. A is 6, D is
7.
okay, D is 7, positive 7 because it's an increasing this one. Now the problem is they've given you the last term, which is 209. Question is find the number of terms. Okay, find the number of terms. So let's call this is T1, T2, T3, T4 bahkan. Okay, and then T209, I don't know what is the position. Is it in the 121 position? Is it in the 24th position? I don't know. So I'm going to call this Tn. Okay. Now there are two ways you can do this. You can do this manually, okay, which is going to take up like at least 10 minutes of your time. Can 6, 13, 20, 27, 34, 41, 48 dan seterusnya sampai kamu sampai 209. And then you count. Okay, you count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sampai kamu dapat 209. Pun boleh. Tetapi if you are going to do that, you have to write every single number from 6 to 209. If you want to do it manually, can. Sebab some people, okay, they find it easier daripada, kenapa saya kena pakai ni formula ni, bikin susah saja. Bagus saya buat secara manual. If you have no idea how to do it using the formula, do it manually. It is better for you to spend time doing it manually and get the 2 marks daripada kamu gadaikan saja ini 2 markah sebab kamu malas. Penyakit malas saya tidak boleh bantu. Okay, if there is an easier way, we try an easier way. If not, do it the difficult way. Because getting 2 marks is better than getting nothing. Okay, people, a standard 5 kid now can do this if you let him do it manually. Don't tell me a form 5 student cannot do this if I ask you to do it manually. Okay, jangan memalukan diri. Budak tahun 5 boleh buat ni. Okay, tapi manual lah memang sangat panjang. Okay, dia kena kira 6, 13, 20, 27, 34, 41, 48 sampai 209. But if it gives you that 2 marks, you should grab that mark. Okay, sometimes, yeah, macam saya marah pula kan. Okay, the time has come. Once again. So let's come back to this. So if you don't want to do it the long and manual way, we set this as Tn equals to 20, is it 9? 209. Okay, we have the A and we have the D. Okay, so A is 6 plus n minus 1 times 7. Okay, equals to 209. And then it's just a matter of pindah-pindah. Okay, you'll get n equals to 30. I'm not gonna show you the working lah. You work this out yourself. Okay, n equals to 30 means if 6 is the first one, 13 is the second one, 20 is the third one, 27 is the fourth one, 34 is the fifth one, and so on and so forth. 209 is the 30th number. Come on, people. 30 numbers only. Okay, if you cannot do it this way, okay, you can do it this way. You can still do it. It's only 30 numbers. Okay, syaratnya satu sajalah. Kamu tidak boleh pakai dot dot dot. You have to list out the whole thing. You have to list out the whole thing in full. Okay, you have to list out the whole thing in full. So all 30 numbers have to appear on your answer sheet in order for you to get 1 mark. Okay, and then you write down there n equals to 30 is the second mark. It's only 2 marks. Kalau kamu pakai cara ini, this is 1 mark, this is 1 mark. Yes. Sorry, somebody asking me a question. Oh, okay, fine. All right, let's do question C. First 3 terms of a geometric progression are P, 15, 45. Okay, find the value of P. What do you remember about geometric progression? Geometric progression is the common ratio is the same. Okay, we talk about common ratio. That means if your geometric progression is P, 15, and 45, you can say that 45 divided by 15 must be equals to 15 over P. The nombor selepas bahagi dengan nombor sebelum sama dengan nombor selepas bahagi dengan nombor sebelum. Okay, it is always the same number. So, pungkoci, you get P equals to 5. Okay, pindah, kamu akan dapat P equals to 5. The number in front divided by the number behind is always the same. Okay, as long as they are in succession lah. Okay. Hasil tambah, the sum from the 5th term to the 9th term. Okay, this is the problem. The sum from the 5th term to the 9th term. That means what I want, okay, what I want now is this. Is T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, T8, T9. I only want the sum of this one. T5 plus T6 plus T7 plus T8 plus T9. Okay? Now if you are like, oh my goodness, what's the formula for this? How to do? There's no formula given. You can still do this manually. You can do it manually. Let's try. First term is 5. Second term is 15. Third term is 45. Can you count 4 until 9? Can. Just darab 3 darab 3 kan, sebab 5 darab 3 15, 15 darab 3 45. Can you do it until the 9th term? Can. Okay, there's nothing to stop you from doing it until the 9th term. Okay, you can do this manually dengan syarat, okay, you list it down fully. Okay, 45 times 3. Sorry, let me show you how to do it manually. Okay, times 3, 405. Times 3, 1215. Okay, times 3, 3645. Times 3, 10935. Times 3, and the last one 32805. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tell me, how many minutes did I take to do this? Less than 1 minute. Kan? Don't tell me you cannot do this. Darab 3 saja. Then dia mau the sum of the 5th until the 9th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one. 405 until 32805. You just have to add it all together. Okay, the sum of the 5th to 9th term is, okay, fine lah, tidak mau is lah. Okay, the one is sama dengan 405 plus 1215 plus 3645 plus 10935 plus 32805. Don't tell me this one also you cannot do. Can can. Okay. If you don't know how to do it according to the ADMATS way, don't make your life too difficult. Okay, there is another method that you can use, even though it is not the ADMATS way. You may not be able to get, no, sorry, you can get the full marks unless the marking scheme is very strict now. Okay, but so far I have not seen anybody that has rejected this method of answering because you are answering the question. You're not using progressions, yes, but you're answering the question. Okay, your final answer will be 49005. Okay, if you use this method. Now, for those of you who understand how progressions work, okay, the actual method lah, okay, the actual method will be, if you want to find the 5th to the 9th, okay, this will be S9 minus S4. Because this whole thing is S9 and this whole thing is S4. Dan saya mau yang ini. S9 minus S4. By using the S9 minus S4 method, you will have to do a little bit of calculation lah. S9 equals to 5, R is what? R is 3. 3 to the power of 9 minus 1 over 3 minus 1. Okay, and then S4, okay, is 5, 3 to the power of 4 minus 1 over 3 minus 1. Okay, you will get this value 49205, this value 200, and when you minus it, you will get the exact same answer. Okay, this is using the formula method, this is using the manual method. Okay, if you don't know how to use the formula method, don't give up. Okay, try doing it manually. Okay, which is why lah, whenever I see people sitting for ADMATS paper and then they spend most of the ADMATS paper sleeping away, I'm like, what a waste lah, you know. Try to get a few marks in the progression. You do it manually. You know, because, come on, a standard 5 kid can do this manually lah. Okay, we don't teach the standard 5, we don't teach the primary 5 kid cara progression. When you teach him how to do it manually, he can count anything for you manually. Takkan kamu mau kalah kepada budak tahun 5. Kan? Think about it. Motivation, betul. Okay. Question number 6. Do we have time? Yeah, okay, let's do question number 6. Question number 6, diagram 2 shows the graph of this one against this one. The variables x and y are related by the equation of blah, 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 blah. Okay, find the value of A and B. First thing you need to know is what chapter is this talking about? Anybody want to share what do you think this chapter is talking about? You guys know?
In linear law.
Linear equation.
Not linear equation, linear law. Okay, you know how you know it's linear law? Number 1, you see a straight line. Okay, and the second and the biggest giveaway lah is dia punya paksi semua pelik-pelik. Okay, very, very weird paksi. Because normal straight lines, okay, with y equals to mx plus c, is literally y-axis and x-axis. Kan? Tapi this chapter, y minus 2x against x squared, y over x against 1 over x, you know there is linear law. Okay, let's talk about linear law. Okay, linear law. Okay, the most important thing about linear law, okay, is this one equals to, oh, you know what, I shouldn't, equals to m x, okay, plus c. Okay, and in linear law, the y and the x, okay, we follow the graph axis. Kita ikut paksi pada graph. Okay, the m, which is the gradient, okay, this one, calculate. And then the c, Saya mengadang-adau dengan color-color ni kan. Mau juga color-color. Okay, the C is from the graph. That's basically linear law. You can change any equation, okay, into a linear equation as long as you know how to identify the gradient and you know how to identify the y-intercept, if there is a y-intercept. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Straight line graph. Okay, hilang sudah. Okay, straight line graph. Okay, in this graph, it is a straight line graph. Graph A first lah. Okay, tell me what is the y-axis is given, x-axis is given. So you know y minus 2x, okay, equals to m. What is my x-axis? X squared plus c. Okay, let's do that first. Can somebody find for me the gradient and the y-intercept? What is my gradient and what is my y-intercept in this graph?
The gradient is -1, the y-intercept is 4.
The y-intercept is 4. Gradient is -1. Yeah, okay, fine. The gradient is -1. So, you know that this equation is y minus 2x equals to -1x squared plus 4. Okay, you know this. Now, the original equation is this. Y equals to ax squared plus 2x plus 4b. How do I change this to become this? Okay, what you do is the 2x you bawa pergi sebelah. Senang saja kan? So, y minus 2x equals to ax squared plus 4b. Okay, now since you have done this, okay, we compare. We see that sini x squared kan? Sini x squared. Therefore, a equals to -1. A equals to -1. Kita bandingkan. And 4b equals to 4. So kalau 4b equals to 4, b equals to 1. Sini 1 mark, sini 1 mark. Ini, perubahan ini ya, this is 1 mark. Just kasih pindah saja. Okay, it's only 1 mark. So that's why it's a 3 mark question. But again lah, look at the axis properly. Form the equation of the straight line according to the graph before you look at the equation over here. Form the equation first. Okay, second question is almost the same thing. Take a look at the graph. Tell me what is the gradient and the gradient first. Sorry, we can't do much. We have to do the gradient first. Do we have the gradient? Oh, you know what? You can find the C. Tell me the gradient and the C.
Gradient is 1.
Gradient is 1. C. How do I find the C? Sub in, okay, fine. Tell me what is the C? Sorry, wait. You want to say sub in where?
The equation.
Which equation?
If we found the gradient, we can know what is PQ.
Y equals to ms plus c. Yeah, okay. I think both of you are getting at the same idea, just a slightly different approach. Guys, this is not the equation for this graph. Sebab dia punya paksi tidak sama. Okay, so you go back to the original y equals to mx plus c. Okay, you just take one of the coordinates, -1 equals to 1 times -5 plus c. You can find the c from here lah. Okay, the c will be 1 plus 5, 4. Okay, c will be equals to 4. So this equation, this graph, the equation is y over x equals to 1 over x plus 4. Okay, y, this is paksi x, this is my gradient, and this is my c. Okay, y over x equals to this one, this one, this one. Now we look back at the original equation. How do we change this into this? Okay, obviously we look at the y lah. The y become y over x, so kita bahagi semua dengan x. Okay, so y over x equals to pq over x plus p over x. Kita bahagi semua dengan x. Sorry, px over x. Okay, so ini akan potong, ini akan kekal. So what you're going to get is y over x equals to pq times 1 over x plus p. Dan kita bandingkan ini dan bandingkan ini. What can you see? PQ equals to 1. And P equals to 4. Okay, itu tidak payahlah. PQ equals to 1, you will answer this one already. Express P in terms of Q. P equals to 1 over Q. Daripada sini. Okay, I think Yong, you had a slightly different approach, but Ken, it is the same thing lah. Okay, you can start with this and then change over also can, but I always like to start from the graph. Okay, I always like to start from the graph because the graph tells me enough information. The 2 points tell me the gradient and the intercept, and then I can form the straight line equation according to the epoxy of the graph. Okay, according to the epoxy of the graph. Okay, right. Shall we do this one last one? Okay, one last one now, number 7. 2 vectors. When did we study vectors? Did we study vectors this year or last year? Last year, oh my goodness.
Last year.
And Form 4, gosh. Feels like a lifetime ago. Okay, state OR and OS in the form of X and Y. Okay, so we just have to take the coordinates. So OR will be 2 and 6. And OS will be 4 and 3. And the reason why we can just take the coordinates, okay, the reason why we can just take the coordinates and kasih jadi vector macam ni is because it starts from the origin. Okay, so you might want to make a note lah. Okay, use coordinate, okay, as vectors only if the vector starts from origin. Okay, O to R. So kalau dia daripada origin sampai R and the R coordinate is 2, 6, so the vector is 2i plus 6j. Okay, and then express RS. Now R to S, this is the shortcut. But the long cut is because we have OR and OS. So RO plus OS. Okay, so RS equals to RO plus OS. Now we have OS, no problem, 4, 3. But RO is opposite of OR. If OR is 2 and 6, RO is -2 and -6. Kita kena ubah arah. Okay, so when you add this together, -2 plus 4 is 2, -6 plus 3 is -3. Tapi soalan minta in the form of xi plus yj. So you rewrite this now. 2i squiggly squiggly, okay, tambah, oh sorry, -3 because negative kan, -3 j squiggly squiggly. Okay, common question I always get, and I think some of you asked me last year, what if I forget the squiggly squiggly? If you forget the squiggly squiggly, bagus jangan jawablah soalan ni. So kau tidak akan dapat markah. Okay, that's the hakikat. Okay, sebab in mathematics, 2i minus 3j and 2i squiggly squiggly minus 3j vector are two totally different things. Okay, they look like the same number, but they're two totally different things. Okay, so diagram shows a sector of POQ in a circle. You will circle your radius, and then of course, whenever you see the words radian, you kind of know that this is Form 5 Chapter 1 lah. Okay, circular measure. So let's do a little bit of recap, okay, on circular measure. First, we need to know that 180 degrees equals to pi radian. Okay, both radian and degrees are the same, are different units of the same thing. Okay, the angle is either given in degrees, which we are used to, or in radian. Okay, which is the it's our radian, which is another unit for the size of the angle. Okay, and so because of that, the conversion from radian to degrees, okay, can be simplified. Radian to degrees, okay, and degrees to radian, okay, can be simplified lah. Okay, so this one is divide by pi times 180. Manakala from degrees to radian will be divide by 180 times with pi. Okay, so that is the first thing that you learned. Okay, how to change between degrees and radian. Secondly, we looked at the length of the arc length. Okay, so a few terminologies lah. Okay, if this is the radius, this one, the length of PQ is known as the arc length. Okay, and we learned that the arc length is given by S equals to R theta, where theta needs to be in radian. Okay, and a very common question I get is, can we use the mathematics way, which is, you know, the one that uses degrees lah? My answer to that will be, I don't, actually, honestly, if you ask me, I don't see a problem. But if the question comes out like this, okay, count the theta value in radians. It's probably not a very good idea to use the mathematics way. Better to use the admaths way. Okay, because in admaths, we looked at the angle in terms of radian as opposed to in terms of degrees. Okay, we try to avoid radian. We try to avoid degrees lah. Okay, wherever we can. Secondly, this whole chunk, okay, this whole pizza shape here, okay, is known as a sector. Okay, and we can find the area of a sector by using 1/2 r squared theta. Okay, so these are the basic three things that we know about circular measure. But having said that, we also need to talk about the chord and also the this one lah. So let's say this is your circle. Okay, over here, okay, this is the chord. Okay, so there is a formula to calculate the length of the chord, and there's a formula to calculate the area of segment. Okay, and this is the place where, you know, it starts to get very complicated lah. Okay, so let's start the area of segment. That's the easier one. The area of segment is 1/2 r squared, and then theta minus sine theta. Okay, and as a general rule, I tell people that when you use this formula to find this particular area, okay, you should use this in radian, and this theta over here has to be in degree. Okay, as a general rule lah. Okay, of course there are some people, they listen to the tuition teacher and the tuition teacher say, okay, never mind, change the calculator to radian mode. Okay, then it's easier to count because you don't have to, you don't have to use this one in degree. Which is true, it's true. I'm not saying that it's not true. You can change it into radian mode. Ini saya bercakap kepada mereka yang kamu diberitahu lah, you are told to use in radian mode. You can use in radian mode, but okay, you have to be very, very sure that after this question is over, you have to change back your calculator into degree mode. Okay, if you can be very sure, you can set a reminder to yourself in the heat of the exam. Okay, let me tell you, in the heat of the exam, if you can switch into radian mode and then after you finish the question, you switch it back to degree mode, then go ahead. Okay, go ahead and use the radian mode. It is actually easier. Okay, I'm not saying that it's not easier. I'm saying it is easier. But I have had too many students, okay, I used to teach that actually. I used to tell my students, change to radian mode because radian mode easy. You don't have to change this angle over here into degrees, okay. I used to teach that. Way back, when I was in my earlier years, okay. But let me tell you the statistics lah. Okay, I can tell you that more than half of my students during the exam, very confidently, they answer everything in radian mode. Okay, and you know, anybody who tells you, okay, sorry, anybody who has done this before will know that when you calculate the value of sine, cos, tangent in radian mode, okay, you will get a totally different answer, okay, from what the actual answer is, because the angle that you use to count sine, cos, and tangent is in radian. Okay, so and because of that, you know, students get stressed up because they get all these mad error values. Then they check all their work again, you know, they check all their working, pastikan semua betul dan semua ini. Okay, when in fact the actual problem was their calculator. They forgot to change it back to degree mode because they're so happy that they can find this question, they can find the answer to this question in radian mode. But because of the exam, during the exam is a stressful time. You are 2.5 hours or 2 hours lah. Kamu memang kekurangan masa. Okay, and you tend to forget things like this during the exam. Okay, so kamu kena tanya diri sendiri lah. Are you the kind of person that under pressure you are still very calm and you know what you need to do? If you are that kind of person, go ahead and use radian mode. Okay, but if you are not that kind of person, kalau kamu baru soalan nombor 1 pun menggigil sudah, I would rather you stick to the degree mode, change the angle to degree. Okay, so you have to know yourself and your exam answering pattern lah. Okay. Okay, you have to know yourself because I can tell you this, I can tell you that radian mode is definitely much easier. Okay, but if you forget to change back to degree mode, at least 4 questions you're going to get wrong after that. Is it worth getting this one question correct using the easy way and taking the risk of getting the 4 questions wrong by forgetting to change it back to the degree mode? Okay, I'm so I'm always not very optimistic lah. I like to play it safe. Okay, and so I said, if you want to use radian mode, go ahead, but you have to bear the risk. Okay, too many students. I have seen too many students, excellent students. They are potential A+. Okay, SPM they got because they think they're too smart. Okay. Secondly, the chord, the length of the chord, 2r sine theta over 2 bahkan. Okay, so the length of the chord is 2r sine theta divided by 2. Okay, and this one is also in degree. For those of you who want to stick to degree mode. If you want to change to radian mode, totally no problem. Everything can be in radian. Okay, so this is kind of like a basic outline, okay, of everything that happens in this particular chapter. Okay, so again, the reason why these classes are very slow is because it is a revision plus answering technique at the same time. Okay, so according to me, you don't have to go for any more answering technique session. Okay, because I cover this from chapter to chapter. All right, let's take a look at the question. Diagram 5 shows a sector POQ of a circle with the center O and the radius RCM. It is given that the length of the arc is 18, okay, and the perimeter is 48. Okay, find the value of theta in radians, but they never give you the R. Oh, that's very interesting. They didn't give you the R, but they asked you to find the theta. Okay, so let's start first. So the perimeter, okay, the perimeter is 48. So let's start from there. 48 equals to the 2 radius, okay, kita kasih tambah, and then plus the 18. Okay? This one, the R is very easily found. So R will give you 15 cm. Okay, this is question A. R will give you 15 cm. Now, once you get R, how do we count theta? We can use the arc length, okay, which is this formula. So 18 equals to 15 times theta, and you'll get theta equals to 1.2 radian. Okay, quite easily done. 2.2 mark, 2 marks. 1 here, 1 here. Okay, the working is really nothing much. You get the value of R, 1 mark. You get the value of theta, another mark. Okay. So after that, you can find the area of the sector. The area of the sector is very easily found. Area equals to 1 over 2 r squared theta. You know what? Let me make this a little bit thinner. Okay. So 1 over 2, r is 15 squared, theta is 1.2. Okay, so you should be able to get 135 centimeter squared. Okay, in admits, no unit is not such a big deal, but because you are also my physics students, so this is a bit sad lah. If you are my physics students and I also teach you admits at the same time, I will always say admits, the unit is important because it helps you in physics as well. Okay, so anyway, this is how we will count this lah. Theta, so we use the basic formula lah. But I just wanted to cover the other two formulas, especially the conundrum with this degree mode and radian mode lah. Okay, I want to settle it once and for all because quite a number of you have asked me, can we change to radian mode? I said, can you want to change? You change lah, no problem. Okay, but if you forget to change back, you don't blame me lah. Don't say, sir, say can change to radian. I say can change to radian, but I didn't say, you didn't ask me whether we should change back or not. Okay, so it's not my problem, it's yours if you want to change it to radian mode. Okay, all right. Given that y, sorry, this is question number 9. Given that y equals to 2x squared minus 3x plus 4, okay, find the value of x when y is minimum. Okay, and then after that, find the minimum value of y. Now, at first glance, this looks like, the completing the square question. Okay, because of the words minimum. Okay, at first glance, it looks like a completing the square question because of the words minimum. But if you look at question B, okay, so here's another thing. One question cannot come from two different chapters. As a general rule, okay, as a general rule, the same question cannot come from two different chapters. Okay, possibly the only time I've ever seen this done, okay, same question, but question A and question B is from two different chapters, is integration and differentiation. But I've only ever seen that twice, maybe. Okay, for SPM in my entire teaching career, I've only seen that kind of question twice. Okay, because generally when people set questions, they will set the questions from the same chapter. I'm not saying that different subtopic cannot. That one janganlah kamu tipu diri lah. Okay, different subtopic memang boleh. Tapi different chapter, as a general rule, we don't set questions that way. Kalau question 9 is from this chapter sajalah. So at first glance, when you see this question 9a, it looks like it's completing the square, chapter 2, form 4. Okay, but when you look at the next question, you see the words gradient function. Okay. If it is just gradient, different story. This is gradient function, fungsi kecerunan. Gradient function only appears in one chapter, which is chapter 2, form 5, differentiation. Okay, gradient function is dy dx equals to 3x plus 5. Inilah. Okay. So when you take a look at question B, you're like, okay, it looks like differentiation. So question A also has to be differentiation. And what do we know about the minimum value when we are talking about differentiation? Okay, let's talk about this first. So minimum or maximum value points, okay, are also known as turning points. Okay, minimum and maximum value points, okay, coordinates, okay, are also known as turning points. Because if let's say a graph is like this, okay, this is the minimum value, and it is a turning point because selama ini graf ini turun begini kan, selepas melalui titik ini dia naik, dia mengubah arah. Okay, dia mengubah arah. Dalam bahasa Melayu, turning point is called titik pusingan. Sebab di situlah titik di mana graf itu memusing, dia pindah arah. Okay, so at the turning points, at any turning point, whether it is a minimum or maximum value, the key thing that we need to remember, it is not a formula, we have to remember. When you see the words minimum, maximum value, and you know that it is from differentiation, you have to think about dy dx equals to 0. Okay, at the minimum or the maximum turning points, the dy dx equals to 0. And that now tells us a lot of things. Okay, because we can immediately answer question A. Find the value of x when y is minimum. Okay, the moment you see this, the first thing you do is you differentiate this. Okay, I'm not going to go and revise apa dia punya cara differentiation. Sorry, it's too long for me to tell you how to differentiate lah. The first thing we do is we differentiate. Okay, cara differentiation I won't cover as your revision because it's too basic lah. Okay, y equals to 2x squared minus 3x plus 4. When you differentiate this, is equals to 4x minus 3. Okay, and because y is minimum, okay, y is minimum. Okay, so dy dx equals to 0. It's a very important statement. Okay, remember that. So 0 equals to 4x minus 3, you will get x equals to 3 over 4. Okay, quite simply done lah, very easily done. X equals to 3 over 4. Okay, now the minimum value of y. Okay, if you have x equals to 3 over 4 and you know that y is equals to minimum when x equals to 3 over 4, all you have to do is just substitute x as 3 over 4. Okay, so the second question is, when x equals to 3 over 4, the minimum value of y equals to, what's the function? 2x squared. 2 times 3 over 4x squared, okay, minus 3 times 3 over 4 plus 4. You will get 1623 over 8. Okay, this will be your question. Nothing much to think here lah. It's only 1 mark. Okay, this is 1 mark. This is 1 mark. Differentiating is always 1 mark. Okay, and then getting the answer is 1 mark. So it's a 3-mark question. Very simply done. Again, the differentiation, kalau kamu lupa sudah macam mana mau differentiatekan, it may be a good idea during the holidays kan, just to refresh balik lah. Okay, tata cara differentiation, and aim for the simple differentiation first. Don't go for the super complicated one yang ada per and other times lah. Yes, those are asked, okay, usually in paper 2. Okay, if you're going to answer differentiation questions in paper 2, okay, then you may need that complicated differentiation lah. But always aim to make sure that the simple differentiation you know how to do. Okay, itu dahulu. Okay, given that point R lies on a curve with the gradient function 3x plus 5. Okay, find the equation of the tangent at point R. Okay, this one needs a new page. So let's talk about this. Okay. What is the relationship, okay, sorry. What is the relationship between differentiation and equation of straight line? Okay, so you're given the point, sorry, my goodness. You're given the point negative 2 and 3 and 3x plus 5. Okay, so you're given the point R equals to negative 2 and 3 and the gradient function. Okay, the gradient function that is also known as dy dx equals to 3x plus 5. Please correct me if I'm copying this wrongly. I'm just going to continue, but if I'm wrong, please correct me. So the gradient function is dy dx equals to 3x plus 5. What does the gradient tell you? The gradient tells you the value of the gradient. Okay, the value of the gradient as long as you know what is the value of the x. Okay, so gradient. Okay, gradient equals to 3 times negative 2 plus 5, which will give you 4. Sorry. Is it negative 1? Sorry, is it negative 1? Yeah, it should be negative 1. Negative 1. And, yes, okay, it will give you negative 1. Now, the question is asking for equation of tangent. Okay, at the point R negative 2 and 3. Okay, now we don't know what this line is, we don't know what this curve is lah, but we know that equation of tangent refers to, katakanlah, okay, let's say this is the curve. Okay, and R is here. This is point R. So the tangent line What is a tangent line? A tangent is a line that touches the point at only one point, one place, which is at the point itself. So it is a straight line. Okay, so this is the tangent. Okay, and since you can see very clearly that the tangent is a straight line, what is the standard equation of a straight line? The standard equation of a straight line is y equals to mx plus c. Okay, do we have the y? Yes, we do. 3. Do we have the gradient? We just counted it, -1. Do we have the x? Yes, we do, -2. Can we count the c? Of course you can. Okay, so the c will be equals to 1. So the equation of tangent will be y equals to -1x plus 1. Okay. Again, we're here to revise. These are things that you have done before. You have handed in all this homework. We did. Remember the time where I gave you like what, 70 questions on this chapter, remember? Okay, so we've done this before. You've probably done this before, but you just kind of need to remember, okay, how to do this. Okay, now, since we're talking about equation of tangent, saya bagus kasih anu lah. Okay, we need to talk about the equation of normal. Okay, if they ask you to calculate the equation of tangent, okay, the first thing you do is you have to find the gradient. Okay, and then you use that gradient. But if you have to find the equation of normal, you have to use the gradient of the tangent. Okay, so this is known as the gradient of the tangent, this -1 over here. Okay, but because the normal and the tangent, this is a tangent, so the green color line is a normal line, this one, that forms a 90-degree angle to the tangent. Okay, so the normal, okay, is 90 degrees to the tangent. Okay, and if you remember from Form 4 chapter 7 to coordinate geometry, you will know that the tangent and the normal, they have a relationship over there. Okay, where the normal gradient is equals to -1 over the tangent gradient. Okay, so there is an extra step that is involved. You have to calculate the gradient of the normal. Okay, so this is known as the gradient of the normal. Ini adalah gradient of the tangent. Okay, and this is calculated from dy dx. Okay, only the gradient of the tangent yang boleh dikira dengan menggunakan dy dx. Okay, if gradient of normal, you have to get the gradient of tangent, baru kamu boleh dapatkan the gradient of normal. Okay, but once you have the gradient of normal, then you can find the equation of the normal. Okay, kita masih lagi guna y equals to mx plus c lah. Okay, the point is always given okay, well, either given or you have to find lah, but usually titik itu kan kamu mesti ada, so that you can find the c. Okay, so there's only the equation of normal is basically the same step, except that once you get the value of the dy dx, you have to do this one extra step to find the gradient of the normal. Okay, so you need to read the question properly. Is the question asking you for equation of tangent or equation of normal? In this case, in the case of this question B, okay, they are asking you to find the equation of tangent. Okay, so when you equation of tangent and say, oh, okay, saya guna dulu dy dx, saya cari gradient itu, lepas tu saya guna gradient itu terus, okay, untuk mencari persamaan garis lurus. But if the question say find the equation of the normal, one extra step. Saya guna dulu dy dx, saya cari saya cari gradient of the tangent, lepas itu saya cari gradient of the normal, baru saya buat y equals to mx plus c. Okay, so again, I kind of like this paper because it covers all the very basic stuff. that I hope that you can answer, okay, during your trial exam nanti. It's good basic stuff that we can get started with to begin our our exam journey, okay, into 5ST max apa semua A+ at max gitu. Okay, let's go to question 10. Okay, question 10, if there's a differentiation question, is definitely, is definitely going to be a question in integration. Okay, first thing you need to remember is integration is the opposite of differentiation. Kalau differentiation kuasanya menurun, integration dia punya kuasa adalah menaik. Okay, now if you are given the integration from 3 to 5 of an unknown equation equals to 12. Okay, what does this mean? Okay, the first thing it means is that whatever the equation is, okay, let's say it's a curve lah, macam ni lah. Here is the value of 3, here is the value of 5, okay, and we know that it is the x coordinate. How do we know it's the x coordinate? Because it's written here dx. Okay, I've heard of this teacher. What she does is, so dia ajar dalam bahasa Melayu lah. Okay, so kameran dari fx dx, you know, as in dx. Okay, ya, untuk mengingatkan muridnya bahawa nombor-nombor ini adalah dipaksi x. Sebab kalau if it's the other way, okay, let's say this is 3, 5, and then fy, and then dy, okay, so this dy maksudnya ini dua koordinat ini adalah dipaksi y. Okay, I've seen a teacher done this before. It seems to work. Just remember, oh yeah, dx. Okay, fine. So if it helps you, go ahead. All right, so the coordinate 3 and 5 is at the x coordinate. Okay, and the integration means that this area, okay, area equals to 12. Nina, yang 12 ini. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to understand what this means. Okay, now question A, find the value of 5, 3, fx dx. Okay. First thing you need to see is that the function is the same. Oh no, sorry. Apa saya buat ni? Okay, first thing you need to see is the function is the same. Okay, it is the same function. The only problem now is that the position of the numbers have changed daripada yang asal. Okay, so once again, I don't know whether it's this class or the other class yang saya ajar. If the famous Ariana Grande song comes on in integration, okay, and they switch positions, okay, what happens is the 12 will become negative 12. It is a 1-mark question. Tiada apa-apa pun untuk dikira. Kamu kena faham saja. Kalau saya kira daripada 3 sampai 5, okay, the area from 3 to 5 is 12. Kalau saya patah balik, if I switch positions, okay, the area will be a totally different sign. Okay, positive akan jadi negative. Itu je. Okay, so watch out for this question, people. I'm not saying that it's going to come up for your trials, but I'm saying that this is a very popular this is a very popular SPM question because it's very simple. It has a very basic knowledge, okay, and it comes out so often lah that I feel that it's such a waste kalau kamu lupa. There is no calculation tiada pengiraan langsung. It just memerlukan kamu untuk memahami dan mengingati bahawa bila nombor kameran ini berubah posisi, okay, the luas akan berubah nilai. Itu je. Okay, let's come to this. This is also another popular question. The value of p if the integration of fx minus p dx equals to 24. So we have the same integration, okay, except that now the function kita kena add something. So when you do this, integration of 3 to 5, the first thing you need to do is you need to separate this. Minus integration of 3 to 5 p dx. Okay, equals to 24. Kita kasih pisahkan ini dua dulu. Okay, and the reason why we want to pisahkan is because we know what this value is. Right? We know what this value is. Take a look at this. It is the exact same thing. And 3 to 5 of fx dx equals to 12. So that's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to put 12 in here. Okay, and then only you work on this integration. Okay, integration of P will give you Px plus C lah. Kalau tiada nombor di sini is plus C, but it's just kasih tambah 1x masuk. Okay, so this will be Px, and then you have 3 bottom here, 5 up here equals to 24. Right? Now what do we do with this 5 and 3? We substitute it into the x. Okay, gantikan di dalam x, tetapi kasih tolak lah. Okay, so 12 minus, gonna change color, 5p minus 3p. Okay, saya gantikan x dengan nombor 5, saya gantikan x dengan nombor 3. Okay, and I'm going to get equals to 24. Okay, and this is where you do a little bit of magic, a little bit of voodoo and everything, and you get p equals to negative 6. Ini saya akan bawa masalah. Okay, so ini sampai sini sudah kan dia memang benda tingkatan 3 ini. Okay, you can, if you're really very lihai, you can even skip this part lah. You can jump straight from here to here, also can lah. I don't suggest it, but you can if you want to. Okay, so where is the mark coming from? This is 1 mark. Menggantikan ini 1 mark, and then of course the final mark is just 1 mark. Okay, because everything else is this one. Either this atau ini. You integrate correctly, kamu akan dapat 1 markah. So sometimes the marking schema can be, mana tahulah kan kamu tidak buat ini, tapi kamu integrate dengan betul. Okay, kamu masih layak dapat 1 markah di sana. Because there's a, it can be 12 or px. So kalau pemeriksa nampak salah satu daripada ini, you will get 1 mark. Okay, and that's how, well, in my understanding lah, that's how the advanced marks are given. Okay, right, we still have time. Let's look at 11a. State the value of NCN. Okay, and if I do a poll on this okay, if I do a poll on this I give you the answer Is it n, is it 1, or is it 0? Okay, a majority of people I know the answer is 1 majority of people akan pilih n. It's pretty amazing. Okay, it seems like a gut reaction, and then after that NC1 NC1 is it n, is it 1, is it 0? And then another one is NC0. Is it n, is it 1? Is it n, is it 1, is it 0? Okay, now when we did this chapter, I already said that this is something that you have to memorize. Okay, NCN is always 1. Okay, even NPN, is it NPN? Hold on. Is NPN 5P5? It should be not 1 though. 5P. Yeah, okay, only the C functions that way. NCN equals to 1. Okay, manakala NC1 equals to, NC1 equals to N. Manakala, okay, NC0 equals to 1. It's, I don't know how many times lah. Okay, saya banyak berteriak ni pasal ni. This very basic information. NCN equals to 1, NC1 equals to N, but NC0 equals to 1. Okay, there's only one way to give 0 things to pick, untuk memilih tiada orang kau mau pilih. Satu cara lah, if just tiada cara. Okay, so this is these are 3 very important facts lah. Okay, that you need to remember. And by extension, the values of N can change. Okay, it can be 5C5. Okay, is equals to 1. 100C100 is also equals to 1. Okay, 100C0 is equals to 1. Okay, 2467 C1 equals to 2467. Okay, all these things, commit this to memory. It's a 1 mark question. If it's a 1 mark question, maksudnya dia adalah soalan tahap pengetahuan. It's either you know or you don't know. Okay, it's either you know or you don't know. All right, 3 students are chosen from 4 boys and 3 girls. okay, to participate in the competition. Find the number of different ways to choose the participants if all 3 students are boys. Okay, if all 3 students are boys, means you're talking about just 4C3. Because there are only 4 boys and you want to choose 3. You see. Yeah. Okay. 4C3. Hold on. 3 students, right? Yeah. Okay. 4C3. So this will give you 4. That's it. Okay. But, okay, the second one is a boy and 2 girls are chosen. Okay, so we think, well, now we have to choose girls. Okay, so we talk about the boy first. We only want 1 boy. So it's 4, choose 1. Kenapa 4? Sebab ada 4 orang lelaki. Kau mau pilih berapa orang lelaki? 1. So 4C1. But you have to talk about the girls. The girls kita mau pilih 2 orang. So how many girls are there? 3. So it will be 3C2. And then these 2 you must multiply. Why do we multiply? Because it is happening at the same time. Okay, dia berlaku serentak. And another clue that tells you that it is times is the word and. Done. These are words that tell you that, oh, okay, saya kena darab. Sebab dia berlaku serentak. Okay, I think there's another question that will deal with the tidak serentak one later, but you know, this is the basic question lah. Okay, what is the value for this? The answer for this will be 12. Okay, maybe this is a good time for me to tell you about this NCR. Okay, I think you should also remember the basic formula for this, which is n factorial over n minus r factorial. Okay, don't know if you remember the factorial. Factorial means dia punya nombor, kamu darab dengan nombor yang menurun sehinggalah 1. Okay, n factorial over n minus r factorial. Am I right? The one with this one is r factorial. The one with the PR is this one, n factorial over n minus r factorial. Just one thing to note, n minus r factorial, okay, n minus r factorial is equals to n minus r times n minus r minus 1 factorial. I don't know whether this makes sense lah. Okay, or n minus r minus 1 times n minus r minus 2 factorial. Okay, so knowing this kind of relation, okay, actually is very important lah. Okay, it's actually very important because if this question comes out in paper 2, actually I've seen it come out in paper 1 also. These kind of questions have come out in paper 1, where they ask you to potong lah. Okay, so maybe for our revision, I'm just going to mention it here, but I don't really have a sample question to talk about this yet lah. But just remember that we can actually expand this to a much bigger one. Because what is the meaning of factorial? Let's say n factorial. If let's say n is 5. 5 factorial means 5 darab 4 darab 3 darab 2 darab 1. Sampai 1 itu. It always ends at 1. Okay. Jangan juga kamu darab kosong. Become kosong, no point. You'll stop at 1 lah. But 5 factorial is also 5 times 4 factorial. Because this is 4 factorial. Okay, at the same time, it's 5 times 4 times 3 factorial because this is 3 factorial. Okay, it can work out that way lah. And you know why we do this? Because there's always a chance to potong it off. You can always cut it off lah. For example lah, what is 100 factorial divided by 98 factorial? You're not going to 100 times 99 times 98 times 97 times sampai 1 kan? No. You're going to change this to 100 times 99 times 98 factorial divided by 98 factorial. Because what that is going to do is going to allow you to cut this. So you're going to get the answer 9900. That's it. Okay. You can calculate it. Yeah lah, fine. Actually, kamu boleh guna calculator untuk kira inilah. You can count 100 factorial bahagi 98 factorial. You get the answer 9900. But knowing this potong-potong method, okay, or knowing how to expand so that you can potong, becomes very useful when it is a number, when it is in a number. Okay, for example, n factorial divided by n minus 2 factorial. How are you going to do this? Kan? Mana boleh kamu buat ni di calculator? So you do this as n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 factorial over n minus 2 factorial. Then you can potong this one. Okay, so you will get n squared minus n. We see this a lot in paper 1 questions. Okay, so it's a good idea. If you know what is happening in question 11, okay, then it's a good idea for you to think about this, this factorial thing and how you can manipulate it around. Tapi kalau soalan 11 pun kamu masih struggling, okay, especially this question, then focus on getting this question right first because this is more often asked. Okay, ini lebih kerap ditanya berbanding dengan yang saya jelaskan tadi lah. Okay. Alright. Yeah, let's do one more question before section B. Okay. So the random variable x represents a binomial distribution, okay, with 8 trials and the probability of success is 1/4. We spent such a long time doing this chapter and then after that I gave you all a project to do. I tell you, if you all cannot answer binomial and probability, if you cannot answer binomial and normal distributions, do another project. Buat lagi satu project supaya kamu ingat ini binomial dan normal. Okay, come on now guys. Don't let your hard work go to waste. Okay, no matter what kind of hard work that you put into this project lah. But I assume that everybody did some hard work, okay, with respect to the binomial and the normal distribution. Now, formula for binomial distribution is Px equals to R. Okay, R is the one that you want. Equals to NCR P to the power of R Q to the power N minus R. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is the mean. The mean is given by the symbol mu equals to NP. NP. Okay, and the standard deviation is this, which is N times P times Q square root. Now, if you look at all these 3 formulas, it's very obvious that in order to answer a binomial distribution question correctly, you need the value of N, you need the value of P, and you need the value of Q. Okay, and to remind you, the value of P plus Q is always equals to 1. If you have the value of P, you can calculate the value of Q. Jangan menunggu nilai Q itu jatuh daripada langit kepada kamu. Okay, kamu boleh kira sendiri itu. You can count the probability of success. Okay, so they say the probability of success is 1/4. This is P. Immediately you will know Q is equals to 3/4. Okay, immediately. Tak payah fikir. Okay, 8 kali cubaan. This is our N. Okay, how do we find the standard deviation? We use this. Okay, the square root of NPQ. So the square root of NPQ will give you, the square root of NPQ is 8 times 1/4 times 3/4 square root. You will get the answer 1.2247. 1.225 is also fine. Now, so standard deviation, okay, standard deviation is this, right? 8 times 1/4 times 3/4 square root, then you get the answer 1.2247 or 1.225 is also fine. All right. Last one, the probability that at least one trial is a success. Okay, sekurang-kurangnya 1. Okay, now if there are 8 trials, means you have to count the probability of 1 plus the probability of 2 plus the probability of 3 all the way until the probability of 8, which is crazy lah. Okay, so you don't want to do that. So you want to do the other way around. Okay, flip it the other way by calculating 1 minus the probability of 0. Okay, because the probability of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equals to 1 minus the probability of 0. Okay, because remember, no matter how many probabilities there are, the sum of all the probabilities is always 1. And the first probability is the probability when R equals to 0. This one. Okay, it's always the first probability. Okay, never forget that. So 1 minus, what is our n? Our n is 8. Okay, 8C0. Our value of P is 1 over 4. 1 over 4 to the power 0. 3 over 4 to the power 8 minus 0. Okay, and you should get the value of 1 minus, this will give you 0.1001, which is about 0.899